It's
All right.
officially Star Wars Day today.
That's my story today. It's just going to be
Yeah.
Star Wars. No. Cool. So
right.
I'll start off. Hi, everybody. My name's Jake, and I do everything. So I'll restart. I'll pick something. Okay. Hi. My name is Jacob Shapiro, and I do everything. I started way back in the day as a creative writer, and I mean like elementary school creative writer. I would write stories. I would draw little stick figure comics, and that kind of transitioned into wanting to do music. And then as in middle school, when I decided to do music, I joined a middle school choir. And then after that, I said, hey, acting sounds fun. So in high school, I transitioned into being a theatrical actor. And near the end of high school, I kind of went, wow, I like movies too. So I went from theatrical acting to film acting, and I auditioned for a couple shorts for my high school. I then decided, I like how they use the camera. So I took some classes, and I decided to go into film and television and radio and all of that. And so since then, in college, I've taken several film studies courses to try to widen my knowledge beyond just the obvious knowledge. And I've grown since then. I've grown from there, and I have done all of these different things. I have furthered myself in terms of acting. I've furthered myself in terms of my abilities behind the camera, in front of the camera, and my writing, as a matter of fact. So when it comes to what I do and what the better question is, what don't I do? And that is not a lot. But I'm very, very happy with what I've done and where I'm going. My goal in 5 years, I would say, is to just be working on something big, and whether that's a Hollywood production or whether it's a personal production. I just hope that I am working, because if I'm not working, I'm buying things, and that's not a good thing when you don't have any money. So I hope that does it.
I thought you were going to elaborate on the buying. So okay.
Oh, I mean, hey, no.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That was
terrific.
Speed run.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rachel Ryle. I'm originally from Tennessee, and I moved to California. It's been 4 years. 4 years ago. I love entertainment. Ever since I was a child, I was pretty creative. I wanted to do crafts. I wanted to do anything with my hands, like just create, because that was my way of expressing myself and kind of feeling like I was letting go of my creative energy, things that I needed to do to feel complete. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life growing up. I knew like around early teens, 14, that I wanted to figure something out, because what is I here for? What did I want to do? And I watched the movie Hugo when I was that age, and it inspired me. I was like, oh, these kids are acting. I'm around their age. I can do that too. So that really kind of set the spark going. And from then, my being homeschooled, I didn't really have much access to the outside world. We were pretty restricted I was conservatively homeschooled, so I wasn't allowed to like watch certain things or do anything, but it kind of inspired my own creativity in myself. Having limited access to the outside world meant that I had to just make things up out of my mind. So my brothers and I would collaborate and make films, really cheesy short films, but it was fun, and it kind of set that ball rolling into what I wanted to do once I moved out of my house, which was when I was 18. And I went to a university in Tennessee that had a theatrical program. So I got involved with some acting classes and doing light theater work. And then I like kind of went into like a little pause in life. I had to like figure out like, like this theater program, the teachers were wonderful, but it didn't feel like a good fit. So I took a break from uni and I did some background work. I got into dinner theater while I was in Tennessee. And that kind of like, the background work was fun for the time being. It's like, oh, this is what it's like to be on set. Not my thing, so I didn't continue doing it. And then someone gave me the opportunity. It was a good friend at the time asked me to move to California with them. So we moved to California, and someone mentioned the program at Saddleback College, and I was like, "Oh, a voiceover class! This is great! I've been why not? Let's try it out." So I got into voiceover, and I took a voiceover class, and now I'm into audio production, and it's moving to voiceover and audio production. I think I'm starting to find my niche in that field. I could sit in front of a computer for hours and work on an audio piece and just be very nitpicky and get it fine-tuned to exactly the way I want it. And I love doing character voices and getting behind the mic. It's kind of a way to be expressive, but not have to be like out there in the world. So I currently am working on a Rick and Morty themed radio play for an audio production class, which is actually turning out really well, and I'm super excited to be finishing that next week. And I've been in a few, let's see, I've done some light radio work and public service announcements at school for voiceover, and I've been casting a few video games and animations, little indie stuff here and there, which is great. In 5 years, I would love to see myself, or I plan on seeing myself, involved in bigger animation projects, hopefully like bigger indie animation projects or video games that kind of have a name behind them, and maybe doing some more audio production work. But yeah.
Sorry, I'm kind of nervous for this because listening to everyone else, and usually whenever I listen to like a podcast or an interview or something, and ooh, weird lighting. Okay. I feel like everyone has this sort of very succinct way of telling their narrative. They've kind of identified the threads that connect, like the moments in time where they where they figured out what they're doing and whatnot. And I sort of feel like I'm in the middle of the calamity that is my narrative at the moment. So I struggle to see the threads, but I guess I'll just start at the beginning. I grew up in Southern California, born and raised, which was very fortunate. I'm extremely grateful for that because obviously it's beautiful here and everything, but obviously there's a lot of privilege that comes along with that. Not many people can afford to live here, or you know, and all those things. So I grew up outdoors, surfing and sailing and on the beach and whatnot. And my dad was a big rock climber back in the day, and a skier, and just a general outdoorsman. So it was really great exposure to at such a young age be able to be just completely dumbfounded by nature and how incredible it is, and how you can appreciate it in such fun and great sports and great ways and whatnot. Growing up, I was always sort of weird, always a little bit funky, and I never really knew what I wanted to do. I was always just very creative. I had about 1,000,001 creative outlets. I think in second grade, I spent the entire year folding origami, anything you can do. I was glued to the computer watching origami videos and recreating them and stuff like that. And I was drawing and reading and writing and all these things. So it always felt right to create new things and to express myself in ways that I couldn't always do through words and whatnot. But as I got older, I sort of fluctuated between what I planned to do. I think the earliest thing I remember in like third grade, we did one of those projects like, oh, what's your future career? What do you want to do? And I believe it was a wildlife photographer, which actually I strayed from that path for a while, but really rings true to who I am now, which I guess you know yourself pretty well at a young age. But started wildlife photographer, then it was marine biologist, and then it was something to do with animals and all these sort of things. It was science and art and all these things, sort of like I can never figure out exactly what I felt the strongest pull towards, which was a good and a bad thing. I think it was hard to stay on track because there were so many things that were intriguing and interesting, and that I wanted to get involved in and get my hands and get dirty with. Um, but I think, I don't know. It's like I said, it's hard to identify the threads that connect everything. But I, as I grew older and I got into my teenage years and whatnot in high school, I started to sort of realize the privilege that I had. Like I said, growing up in Southern California and being of I being me being a cisgendered white male, like there's a lot of inherent privilege with that, and I didn't really understand what that meant, and I just understood that it really contributed to the life that I lived. Like it was a very strong invisible force in my life, was this inherent ease that I didn't ask for but was given to me because, you know, certain factors and whatnot. And I thought that was just, it was weird because I had all these friends that had these had struggles in certain areas and whatnot, whether that they were LGBT or people of color or whatnot. And I just thought, like, that's not okay. Like I don't agree with that at all. It's you know,
So
it's hard to,
your sense of activism came out of that, I would take it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It was like, I don't know. I don't necessarily know if there was a light bulb sort of wake up moment, but it was always like, why is it this way? Like, I don't understand. I just truly didn't understand why it was set up in this way. But from that, I just began asking questions, and I sort of figured out that the power in asking questions is to figure out the mental biases that you have and who they're serving truly. So like, why am I able to do certain things? And thank you, Sarah. Am I able to do certain things and my friends aren't, and whatnot? And realized that I needed to do something about that, because if I didn't, I would be a bad person. Like, to myself, I wouldn't be able to like myself if I didn't try to do something about that. So I sort of fell into being active or conscious and whatnot, and circling back to things like the outdoors and stuff. Obviously, I've always loved them, so it's sort of came hand in hand with environmental activism, along with sort of gender-based activism, racial-based anything really. Just equality in general is sort of what I'm hoping to do, and I'm not exactly sure what I want to do in the next 5 years. I love so many different things in this world, science and art and all these great things. But I just know that I want to use whatever resources that I have and whatever inherent privileges that I have to create some good. So I honestly, it's sort of selfish in a way, but so I can feel better, because I don't think that I would be able um, to really like myself if I sort of just sat quietly and enjoyed this life that I was given, that I didn't really do anything to deserve, or, you know, I was all luck. So I hope to try to make a better world for whoever needs it, I guess. And it sounds pretentious and I don't know. It's just, that's what drives me, I suppose.
It doesn't sound pretentious. It sounds truly noble. So thank you. It really does. In this day and age, it's noble. So thank you.